With with best Bisu in fantasy coming up, we were kind of counting Air Force Ace out of it, but it's even now. They've definitely still got a good chance.
Indeed they do. And I have opened up the third VOD. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. We are starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
And then we wait an indeterminate amount of time for them to come back from commercial.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine, man. See, you don't need. That's your problem. You don't need to worry about the viewers at all, man. They
I
can
love
just
the
suck it
viewers.
up. They can just deal with it. See, that's the mistake I made when I started casting. I was like, oh, you gotta think about the viewer, man. You gotta give the best experience possible. No, that's actually not what you do at all. We can just do whatever we want, and they can
You
live
just
with
have to you have to pretend that you have to try to make them think you don't care, because that's what the cool commentators do.
it.
You want to be like the bad boy commentator.
You just saw right
Sayle?
through me, man. That's exactly what's going on here. So, anyways, it looks like in set number 3 we are going to have Fantasy coming out for SKT, and he's going to be playing against Stardust, aka M18M. I've put that in the overlay since I think that's what he's listed as in Liquipedia, but Stardust is actually much easier to say, so I think I'm just going to call him Stardust in the game. It's a pretty awesome name too, Stardust. You know, he's probably good friends with Cute Angel.
Oh, an interesting dynamic we had going on last game, or the other game. We had Alone, whose other name was Princess, and I'm like, you mentioned Cute Angel. You know Six Jacks Major or X6 Windy or whatever he is now?
He's like
Like,
Princess.
he steals names from pro gamers. Like, he's stolen Light's name. He's stolen, like, usually it's good pro gamers. Light, well, Frozian's not good. But I can't, Princess, I believe, comes from Alone, which is kind of questionable to me. Like, why would you steal such a random, pretty bad Zerg's name? But, I don't know, maybe you liked him.
Oh,
So,
man.
anyways, we've got Fantasy versus M18M, aka Stardust, and finally a non-mirror matchup for all of you that are tired of seeing mirror matchups. And we're on Sniper Ridge, which I think of all of the maps that have come out this season, this is my favorite, despite the kind of negative aesthetic it has going on.
I like the way you put that. Very diplomatic. The negative aesthetic. He means it's a swastika, guys. It's a swastika. Anyways, yeah, PvT on Sniper Ridge. I keep saying it's a Terran favored map, but I keep forgetting to actually check the map stats. So I don't actually know if that's a legitimate claim, but
You just feel like it's.
I
As a
mean,
Protoss,
I
you
mean,
feel
like
every map is
83%
Terran
of all
favored.
maps are Terran favored anyway, so I think I got good odds on that. Yeah. Anyways, looks like Fantasy is also in the Terran top 3. He is second behind Flash. I'm pretty sure that's Flash at the top, 7-0. Fantasy has 1 loss under his belt. Who is that against? I don't know. I could probably look it up on TLPD, but whatevs. See, that would be trying just far too hard to please the viewers. Anyways, we have
I'm actually trying to think who's the third Terran that's 6-0 this season.
It's probably Last.
Last?
Yeah,
Okay.
from STX, Last for You. He's like been ridiculously good this season. I'm pretty sure it's him. Anyways,
Alright.
we have a barracks at the bottom of the ramp for Fantasy. Interesting decision. I'm pretty sure he made the depot in his main base as normal. And we do have a 12 Nexus from Stardust. We've been seeing 12 Nexus in PvT so much this season. I thought it had fallen out of favor a little bit just due to Terrans like Flash just owning it hardcore with bunker rushes and whatnot, but seems to be quite popular. And I think with good reason too, because Terrans have really been favoring like 1-Rax expands a lot as well. And 12 Nexus is a great response to that. So oh no, looks like Fantasy is actually going to scout in the wrong direction as well, going to the top right. Meanwhile, it looks like he is in fact going for the 1-Rax expand, building that little anti-zealot SimCity at his natural. So Stardust getting off to a good start here.
Yeah, like you, I was worried about, the 2 Marine bunker rush as the counter to 12 Nexus, but luckily for Stardust, Fantasy's not going to scout until it's far, far too late. So Stardust is actually going to grab a pretty good economy going on into the mid game, and versus Fantasy, you kind of need a little bit of an edge because he's just his Terran versus Zerg's wonky, of course, but his Terran versus Protoss is just so solid, and he makes such a great use of vultures. It's like almost they're worth more in his hands, so you need some sort of little edge to make you even again.
Indeed, indeed. And interestingly, though, last game, Best had the build order advantage against Cal, but Cal won. So this game, Stardust has the build order advantage.
And the game before, Great had the build order advantage against Alone, and Alone won.
Oh, nice. So maybe Stardust is... I don't even know.
So what Stardust should have done is made a 2-gate and done no damage, so he'd be way behind, so that the trend that's going on here would lead him to win. This is actually problematic for him. Fantasy's got this game in the bag, you can already tell.
Exactly.
Even though the openings are pretty even, it's not really a decisive advantage either way, but it's a lot better for Stardust than if it had been 1 Rax into Expand. Or 1 gate into Expand, I'm stupid.
And it looks like the initial Zealot is actually going to go out and, I guess, do some scouting / harassment. Oh, no. What was that, the second Zealot? Yeah, this looks like second Zealot going to chase the SCV. First Zealot going out, but there's a bunker at the front anyway, so it's completely fine. To anybody wondering why the bunker is placed in front of the wall and not behind it, that's because that's actually the correct thing to do in TVP when you 1-rack expand, because you don't want the Dragoons to be able to range your wall out of range of the bunker. You want that bunker to be tanking all the damage, so yeah, that's actually what you do. As opposed to, say, building it behind your wall in a TVZ or something. Anyways. Looks like,
Fantasy is so bad at going bio that even just with those 3 Marines that you kind of have to get out, he lost one to a Zealot, to a melee unit that's slow. Oh, so bad. It's going to make the decisive difference in this game, definitely.
Well, he is going for a relatively quick academy here. Presumably that's just for Comsat. But,
that's
like,
just for Comsat.
Could you imagine if Fantasy decided to go bio in TVP? It's just like, his worst, like, he's already terrible at bio in TVZ where it actually makes sense, and he's just like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be cool and deep 6 in TVP. Oh man, I would, but you know what? Stardust would never see it coming. And he's actually gone for a Stargate already while pouting like a little girl. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Stardust actually, he put a pylon at Fantasy's 3rd, so he's going to know when that goes up. And he's trying to do a little bit of the Dragoon pressure, but because his first gateway was late, he really didn't force the SCVs off the line for that much repair. Although the tank can't really seem to find a good position to drive away the Dragoons, although Siege Mode's going to finish in not too long, so it's not even going to matter. Oh, there it is up already. So the Dragoons need to fall back. I wouldn't... Oh, it's a carrier build. So I guess he should have been going Mass Marine. I actually wouldn't be that surprised by Fantasy because his playstyle in Terran versus Zerg for the longest time, it wasn't just mech, it was do the least expected thing that you can in this situation. So, maybe if he applied that to a versus Protoss game, that would be Deep 6. But he's got the scan, and he hasn't scanned it yet, but the scan that he did just get off, he's going to see a lack of something, so he's going to be suspecting, where's the tech hidden? Somewhere around your base. He's going to find it eventually, and it's just a matter of
it's
what?
A Corsair!
Oh
what
God,
the hell?
What are they called? Disruption web build. This is the single greatest build ever, but it's completely not viable at the pro level.
No.
Oh my God.
What are you talking about, man? Harangi would like to have a word with you, sir. Harangi would like a word, okay? Harangi used this build to own up somebody. Was it Baby? I think he killed Baby in week 1 of Pro League. It was so awesome. But more importantly, oh shit, he's got vultures in his base. Oh, that's not good. I was going to say, if he was going carriers, that'd be a terrible idea, because Best tried that against Last, and he got completely face-stomped. But he's actually going for an even more baller build, and oh my God, the mine goes off on the probes, and another one!
Oh.
It's going to kill everything, and I think Stardust might just die. But he does have Dragoons in the Terran Natural. Unfortunately for him, though, SCVs are a lot better against Dragoons than Probes are against Vultures. And it looks like he's reversed walled his ramp here. He's actually walled the bottom of his ramp because he has 0 units at home. So he's actually walled the Vultures out of his own Natural. Meanwhile, Fantasy, who has gone a quick third command center, though, is going to hold off here with SCVs and Siege Tanks. But look, Stardust has no robotics. He's got no observers anywhere. He's not even close to observers. Like, he has no way to clear out the spider mines in his main base. He just has to hold position those Dragoons at his gateways, and the Fleet Beacon and Stargates are spotted. I don't know if I don't know if Fantasy actually realizes that's not carriers and is actually Corsairs. But at this point, I hope Stardust is actually just not making Corsairs. I don't think he can afford it. No, it looks like he is making something.
Making carriers.
I think, yeah, he might actually be making... Oh, actually, maybe that first Corsair was just a scouting Corsair and it wasn't just D-Web. I think, actually, yeah, we might have overreacted to that.
Yeah, with 2 Stargates, I actually made the bad call there. With 2 Stargates, it's definitely going to be carriers. But that Corsair is doing so little damage to that command center. That's going to make the decisive bit. But the problem is, Stardust didn't really do that much damage in the natural expansion of Fantasy, and Fantasy did a ton of damage. And well, Stardust is in a position where he doesn't even have enough Dragoons to do the step forward, step back hold position. He's like has to wait for more units just to clear the mines with perfect micro. So that command center is going to get there and discover it has no place to land. And here comes the first carrier, but there's no way it has enough interceptors. Yeah, just 2 interceptors with a third coming out. This is going to be really slow in how much damage it's going to deal. And there are like almost no probes left for Stardust, so I think this is just kind of like a little last cry. Although carriers are pretty imba.
Dude, Jangbi showed us all you need is 1 interceptor to win a lost game. All you need is 1, man. Unless he loses that carrier, which would just be awful. And look at this.
I think this Corsair is going to kill the command center.
If that command center dies because that pylon is blocking it, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, M18 is just losing everything now in his base.
Is it me, or does Stardust look really, really sad?
I would be pretty sad too. I mean, you know, you went for... Well, he actually just went carriers and didn't go D-Web, so he wasn't even doing like a really baller build. I think this just goes to show that 2-base carrier is just a god-awful build. I mean, Best lost the last with it horribly. Stardust just got wrecked.
Oh my god, look, his Dragoons are paralyzed. If they move, all the probes die.
Anyway, it looks like Fantasy just landed that command center off location. He's mining from the base. He can do whatever he wants now. It's 68 supply against 27. As good as carriers are, only Jangbi could win this game. Then again, this is Fantasy, though. I mean, this is Fantasy. He might start, you know, getting attacked by carriers and just like suddenly have this like flashback to the OSL finals and just like freeze up in his chair and freak out. He's just like, "Oh my God, carriers!" You never know.
So somehow, M18M managed to glitch a probe back into his own natural expansion mineral lines in a place where you can't get except for glitching, which is interesting. What else is there to talk about here? Oh, I wanted to point out that M18M is actually doing carrier micro correctly. Oh, he's going to lose all those Dragoons. He is actually doing it correctly. You can see the deep shadow of the interceptors trailing behind the carriers at all times. He's getting stomped right here, so it's like not even worth talking about. But there's GG. If you keep your carriers moving at all times, the interceptors will never get the chance to fully go back to the carriers and go back in, so that when you attack again, instead of deploying 1 by 1, all 8 will fly out at the same time. So even though that was a pretty terrible game, there's a lesson for all you Protoss players out there who are looking to use carriers even more, because making carriers is, as everyone knows, a good skill to have.
It is, man. Unless I do it, I'm like god awful with the carriers. I don't even know why.
Well, you got to keep your carriers in constant motion so the interceptors don't go back in.
It's like it's too much APM requirement, man. I can't handle that. It's too much.
Oh, host on Troy. That's like actually an icon map, I believe.
Dude, it's like map of the week or something.
Map. What?
It's like map of the week.
Troy is?
Yeah.
That's a really strange decision, but you can make that into an island map and go refugee Protoss, so there's a strategy for you.
There is indeed. Alright, are you ready for set number 4?
Yeah, I was actually really disappointed with that set.